Whew. So we'll continue tonight's celebrations with the 2023 Medal for Distinguished Contribution to American Letters. Each year, the medal is given to a writer who has, over the course of their career, enriched our shared literary and cultural heritage. Previous recipients include Toni Morrison, Isabel Allende, and most recently, graphic novelist and comics artist Art Spiegelman. Yeah, yay, Art. Tonight's honoree has written in just about every genre, mentored hundreds, if not thousands, of emerging poets and writers, and served as the first Black poet laureate of these United States. Here to present the medal to Rita Dove is Mr. Jericho Brown. Jericho is the author of Please, which won an American Book Award, The New Testament, which won an Anisfield Wolf Book Award, and The Tradition, which was a National Book Award finalist and won the 2020 Pulitzer Prize for Poetry. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jericho Brown.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I hope my sister saw that LeVar Burton said my name. Thank you to the National Book Foundation for inviting me here. It's so nice to be in a room where everyone knows I'm a poet and nobody is stressed out about it. I know for a fact that in this room, no one has ever tried to ban a book by Jericho Brown. I don't know that in every room, but give yourselves a hand, give yourselves a hand. So I feel at home here, though I've traveled some distance. I have come all the way from Georgia, so you can hear and see me thank God for sending a particular poet to walk the earth with us, a light that shines brighter than my tuxedo. My challenge today is to tell you just one of the many ways my life has been changed by the lady you know as the Pulitzer Prize winner, the former Poet Laureate of the United States of America, the lady we refer to around my house as our best example, the lady I refer to in my mind as my sister. Tonight's Medal for Distinguished Contribution to American Letters recipient, Rita Dove. Rita Dove won the Pulitzer Prize when I was in elementary school, and she was Poet Laureate of the United States by the time I was in high school. I'm going to pause there because I know you're writers, so you need time to do some math. I imagine I don't have to tell you what seeing Rita's face on posters in the schools and libraries where I was reared meant to me and my sense of possibility for living my life as a poet. Possibility is a particularly strong word for us, the people who populate this room, each of us showing up just to make sure, no, I'm not crazy, or at least I'm not the only crazy one. Possibility is what allows us the nerve to write and to believe that something can be made of our scribbles. Most of us are here in spite of, and sometimes because of, the fact that someone else thought the life we chose, the artist's life, was not a sustainable life. And here we are, proving the naysayers wrong. I'm here today because I am the descendant of a people who, against all odds, believed my existence possible. People who were not allowed to write, and then people who worked so hard with their hands for so many hours that to think about writing would only lead to further exhaustion. And yet these people dreamed of me. Before I was born, they thought someone like me could be a reading, writing, Black poet. They may not have been educated, but they knew I would need an education. Well, I ended up with so much education that I'm now a college professor with a PhD, and I'd like to teach you a poem I love by Rita Dove. Canary, from Michael S. Harper. Billie Holiday's burned voice had as many shadows as lights, a mournful candelabra against a sleek piano, the gardenia, her signature, under that ruined face. Now you're cooking, drummer to bass, magic spoon, magic needle. Take all day if you have to, with your mirror and your bracelet of song. Fact is, the invention of women under siege has been to sharpen love in the service of myth. If you can't be free, be a mystery. I love that poem. Talk about lines that remind us of the power of possibility. This poem is a constellation of ancestry. Before we can get to its major subject, Billie Holiday, we have to understand the dedication to the great jazz poet Michael Harper. I mean, by the time you get through the first line, you are already steeped in blackness. It reminds me that my ancestry, my family, is an extended family. That like my hard-working forebears, Rita Dove had been writing with someone like me in mind long before ever meeting me. She knows how to do that because she knows Michael Harper dreamed of her existence. She knows Billie Holiday dreamed that if only there were a Michael Harper, maybe we could also end up with a Rita Dove someday. The poem, as so many Rita Dove poems do, lets me know that it is okay for me to expect that everyone ought to prepare for and know the tradition from which I was born, just as much as I am prepared for and know the tradition from which past recipients of this honor, like Ray Bradbury and Arthur Miller and John Ashbery, were born. If poetry is something we can use, then this poem fights for us. It lets us know that some of the feelings we once had of invisibility had a lot to do with who we thought needed to be looking at us. And it doubles down on that directive in one final line of a commandment. If you can't be free, be a mystery. It is my pleasure to present to you the novelist, the playwright, the songwriter, the recipient of the National Humanities Medal from President Bill Clinton and the National Medal of Arts from President Barack Obama, and the author of several beloved volumes of poetry. I give you our best example, my sister, Rita Dove.
Oh, Jericho. Wow. Thank you, man. I'm gonna try to step up onto that crystal stair you just laid out, you know? And that's Langston Hughes, for those of you who don't know. You know, to the National Book Foundation and the board of directors, its tireless staff, my deepest gratitude. I can't even explain what an honor this is, but I do have a confession for you. From the moment that Ruth Dickey told me I would be receiving this award, I began to fret about my acceptance speech. And not because of this particular audience, because you know the labor behind every triumph or failure. You are, in essence, my peeps. No, I fretted because I have always shied away from mulling over things like voice or intention or what impact my work might have on others, especially when I'm in the moment of writing, the process of writing, which is when I am most grounded in myself, in all the selves I have been and that have come before me, and all the selves that I might still become. So how then could I compose 3 to 5 minutes worth of clear, insightful sentences when a poet can easily spend 3 to 5 hours debating the effect of a comma versus a dash? I think that the translators here in our midst may understand best that what a poet manages to ink onto a page or put into a computer's memory, as it were, is just a silhouette, a shadow of that essential enigma that we call life. The poet is called upon to use words like stepping stones to carry herself and her readers across that unarticulated turbulence, the unworded depths within us. Granted, that's pretty frightening stuff, which may be why many people are wary of poetry, afraid they won't understand it the right way. In today's endangered intellectual climate, my cynical self might say that it's why the woefully growing list of censored and banned books in America's schools and libraries includes relatively little poetry, unless a commercial success pricks the ears of those reactionary book burners who, rather than risk being asked to explain what exactly it is that strikes them as dangerous in our stanzas, have left us to our corner of the sky, hoping that no one can hear us above their shouts. But we keep on strumming our harps, grateful for the village of publishers, editors, printers, distributors, marketers, booksellers, and readers who help keep those strings tuned. So tonight, I would like to give proper thanks to a few of those villagers who've helped me along the way. To Jerry Costanzo at Carnegie Mellon University Press, who 40-plus years ago, I can't believe that, believed in a fledgling poet enough to publish my first 3 books, and gave me his blessing when W.W. Norton came calling. And then to the inimitable Carol Hoke Smith, my editor at Norton for 20 years. Yeah. Until her death in 2009. And to my editor now, the marvelous Jill Bielowski, who seems to know just when I need a hug or a nudge. And of course, to my partner in crime and passion for nearly half a century, my husband, Fred Febon. But finally, I'd like to give a huge thank you to LeVar Burton for hosting this evening's festivities, but also for the hours of babysitting that Reading Rainbow provided when our daughter, Aviva, was growing up in the 80s. Now, day after day, you stepped into our living room to guide her on her book-driven adventures. She still remembers the volcano episode, by the way. And it was a time when to glimpse a portion of that luminous rainbow arch meant promise. I hope that this nation can find that open-hearted joy again. For the fear that has engendered so much hate that has closed minds and stifled imagination is precisely what literature, what all art, seeks to dismantle. So I thank you all for being here and sustaining me. Thank you.
Rita Dove! Rita Dove! I did not expect to come here and cry in front of people, but there you go. Thank you so much, Miss Dove.